Right now, a Mother's Day tragedy in Milwaukee, the toll the apartment fire took. Plus, House Republicans unveil their budget, the cuts expected to Medicaid. And the creator of 50 dates in 50 states makes it to Wisconsin. The special connection his date has to News 3 Now. Good Monday morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford. My partner Kyrion is off today. Hope you had a great Mother's Day. It was hard to beat the weather over the weekend. If you like it nice, warm, and sunny, let's check it with Jacob Montesano, who's in for Savannah this morning, to see if we get some more of that wonderful weather to start off the week. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Chris, we're definitely going to get it today. Could even get it the next couple of days, depending on how the clouds form, or not form, I should say. And as we take a look right now, we are seeing some cooler conditions, but temperatures pretty close to normal for this time of the year during the morning. But they're going to warm up very quickly. Here's a look outside from Platteville. You can see the sun starting to come up and the clear skies right now. And we're going to continue to see clear skies, maybe a few clouds out there. But for the most part, we're going to see a lot of sunshine today. Highs will get into the lower 80s. Winds a little bit breezy at times, but overall the winds not too bad. High temperatures across the area, middle to lower 80s. If anything, it might be a little bit too warm, and the winds could help keep it cool a little bit. So definitely more warm and sunny weather. It will be cooler closer to Lake Michigan, though. Milwaukee may only see highs in the 60s. And then overnight, we'll see more clouds roll in, which will allow temperatures to only drop into the upper 50s, lower 60s. Small chance of rain late in the night, but a better chance of rain will come tomorrow, where we'll see more cloudy. Well, we'll see cloudier skies compared to today, but temperatures still mild, upper 70s to lower 80s. But I'll talk through the rain chance and talk more about an alert day Thursday. Those details are coming up a bit later.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Thank you, Jacob. Now to that tragedy in Milwaukee. 4 people are dead and hundreds more displaced after the fire broke out in an apartment complex. Yesterday morning, flames tore through the Highland Court apartments on the city's west side. The fire chief says the 85-unit apartment was built in 1968 before sprinkler systems were required. To escape, people had to break windows and even tie bed sheets together.
You got people jumping out of the building, people jumping off the 4th floor, people lost their pets and everything. It's really bad. I opened the door, the whole hallway was in flames. I never made it out of the apartment. I was rescued out of the bedroom window.
The fire chief says the building is completely uninhabitable. The American Red Cross of Wisconsin is helping those who've been impacted. New this morning, billions of dollars in cuts are outlined for Medicaid. House Republicans showing part of Trump's bill to cut government spending late last night. The measures did not slice as deeply into programs as some conservative members would like. However, it's not finalized quite yet. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, is here with how it can be changed before the committee votes later this week. Good morning.
Chris, good morning. Republicans say they are rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse to generate savings with new work and eligibility requirements. But Democrats say millions of Americans will lose coverage.
This is very simply an effort to destroy healthcare as we know it, to rip it away from everyday Americans, make it more costly for everybody else. It will close hospitals. You have less providers. You have fewer access points. No state, including this one, no state can take this kind of cost shifting.
The director of the Legislative Fiscal Bureau says that Medicaid is one of the most funded aid programs in the state, and as a result, it serves many people.
20% of our population is on medical assistance. It's basically health care for some low-income individuals, elderly, blind, disabled. And again, 20% of our population is on Medicaid. It's a very large program.
The bill also includes new work requirements for Medicaid. Certain recipients ages 19 to 64 will be required to work at least 80 hours a month to retain their benefits. They could also meet the mandate by engaging in community service, attending school, or participating in a work program. Now, the requirement would not apply to parents, pregnant women, medically frail individuals, and those with substance abuse disorders, among others. And Republicans have long sought to add work requirements to Medicaid.
All right, Michelle Renee with those developments from overnight. Thank you, Michelle Renee. House Republicans, meantime, are also considering making changes to SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. They would include new work requirements. A source says the House Agriculture Committee is considering moving the age of work requirements for able-bodied adults from 54 to 64 years of age. Another change under consideration would require parents of school-aged children to work or volunteer 80 hours a month. Today, President Trump says he'll sign an executive order pegging the prices of U.S. prescription drugs to those of other countries with lower prices. Pharmaceutical companies have aggressively fought this. A similar policy was attempted in the final days of President Trump's first term, but it was challenged by the pharmaceutical industry and eventually blocked in court. Trump's post announcing his plan to sign the order did not say what government programs or drugs would be affected by the order. Beloit Police Chief Andre Sales is stepping down. Sales says that his last day will be June 6th. He's worked for the department since 2005. He was appointed chief in 2021. In a letter to the community, Chief Sales says that he's accepted a new position and will announce that role at a later date. Madison police investigating a robbery and sexual assault. It happened on the city's south side in the 1100 block of West Badger Road. Police say the adult victim was walking to work when an unknown suspect allegedly robbed and sexually assaulted the person. Police have not identified the suspect and they're not providing a description. But if you have any information, you should contact Madison Police. We're continuing our coverage in the search for a new head of the state's Democratic Party. This week, political reporter Will Keneally spoke with Joe Zepecki. Zepecki is the founder of Zepecki Communications. He shares why he wants to be the next leader of the state Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party has lost its way when it comes to how we communicate our values and what we are not just fighting against, but what we're fighting for. I think the communications mindset I bring will allow us to re-engineer how we communicate those values.
It comes at a crucial time for state Dems. During next year's election cycle, Democrats could flip the Senate and we'll see the governor's mansion on the ballot. President Trump intends to accept a Boeing 747 plane as a gift from the Qatari royal family. The luxury plane would then serve as Air Force One. The plane would be one of the most valuable gifts ever received by the U.S. government. It would eventually be donated to the president's presidential library after he leaves office. A new commercial 747-8 costs approximately $400 million. Well, a man from Montana has a unique goal to date 50 different women from 50 states. The woman he chose from Wisconsin was a reporting intern right here at News 3 Now a couple years ago. Matthew Werning traveled to Wisconsin Friday. Heartbreaker tendencies have made him into an internet sensation. He had a date with now Quick Trip headquarters employee Samantha Benish. She's from La Crosse. The pair visited the world's largest six-pack in the Grandad Bluff. They then had dinner and some ice cream. Werning says he prefers it when his dates do most of the planning.
My date here in Wisconsin, did a phenomenal job about planning some of the fun things we were going to do. And from that, we basically put things into a date itinerary, and then we just have a fun-filled day, whether that's 1 to 2 activities, dinner, drinks, and then I film a lot of that stuff to highlight and put on social media.
Werning has more than 700,000 followers on social media. He's also appeared on a number of talk shows and had some articles written about him. Samantha worked for us as an intern January to May of 2022. She's now Quick Trip's social media coordinator. 6:07. Let's check in with Jacob and see what's coming up in your First Warn forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Chris. We'll have a lot of warm days still to come this week, but we are going to see a few rain chances. I'll talk about that after the break.
Thanks, Jacob. Also ahead in your morning sports, a couple of days away from the release of next year's NFL schedule. Find out how you can keep up here on News 3 Now.
Plus, we may be inching closer to summer, but according to one haunted house, we are halfway to Halloween. We're going to see how they're celebrating next in the 608.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In the 608 this morning, you know, it may not be a spooky season right now, but according to one local haunted house, we're halfway there. Josh Sprider is in studio this morning to tell us all about what's going on. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Chris. So Screaming Acres in Stoughton says we are halfway to Halloween, and they're celebrating big this weekend, opening for one night only on Saturday. Here's a little News 3 Now throwback to when the morning team was invited out last October.
All right, you guys ready?
I don't know which way to go.
What are you talking about? Why are you walking so fast?
Ooh, there's bugs. Oh, not the crib.
my gosh. Come on, come on, come on.
Oh God, we got separated.
We're here.
You're leading this train.
It's not moving.
Oh my God! I did the back there! Josh, you're first!
What is that? Go! Hey, but we survived, you guys.
We survived!
You're the champions, my friend.
Oh! Maybe not yet.
Time for monsters.
Well, we certainly survived. No promises this weekend. Screaming Acres is open Saturday night, May 17th from 8 to 10. Tickets are available online only, and I placed that link in the story at channel3000.com. Crazy to think it's already been 6 months since we've been there. Time flies.
It sure does.
Jinx.
Was it as scary as the video makes it seem?
Absolutely. Yeah, they do such a good job, and they have so many different haunted houses there that, I mean, even in the middle of the day when we had shot that piece, I mean, it was pitch black inside. You can't see anything.
Man.
And I mean, I get scared pretty easy anyways, and then, of course, all the girls too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit of screaming.
Good stuff. All right, Josh, thanks for sharing that
You
with
bet.
us. Josh is always looking for inspiration to share in the 608. Got an idea for him? He'd love to hear from you. Just reach out for a chance to be featured. All right, let's check in with Jacob now. He's got 3 things to know on your Monday. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Chris, we are going to see warm temperatures continue at least for the next couple of days, but we also will see a few chances of rainfall. However, a lot of the next couple of days, even those days that we'll see the rain chance, it will be dry for a good portion of the day, but then it's going to be cooler by the time we get to the weekend after that rain chance Thursday. Now, before I talk about the rain chances, I do want to point out that there is a red flag warning in northern Wisconsin, and although it's not in effect for our area today, we will see similar conditions, so I just want to mention that there is a small fire risk with, the kind of the dry weather we've seen the last week. It's going to be a little bit worse the further north you go, but just be aware if you happen to be outside today, which I assume a lot of people will, to enjoy the very nice weather. Sunny skies today with some clouds developing later tonight. Once we get towards Tuesday morning, we'll see some light showers push through the area, continuing into the early afternoon. Maybe an isolated storm, but for the most part, the rain will be very light and very brief, and many areas may not see any rain at all. For Wednesday, an even smaller chance of rain, but we still will see that chance nonetheless. We will see more sunshine Wednesday compared to Tuesday, though. And as we take a look at that forecast, again, just a few isolated showers here and there, but overall not much. Then we get to Thursday, where we have an alert day in the forecast for the possibility of strong to severe storms, mainly in the afternoon and evening, though. It's going to be dry to continue Thursday morning, but once we get to those evening hours, we will see the potential for that line of storms that will develop off to the west and push through our area. Those storms could be severe. Now, it will continue to push off to the northeast overnight Thursday, possibly bringing some rain to northern Wisconsin on Friday. May dip south, but it looks like we'll still be dry on Friday. But it will be very windy, which will cause temperatures to drop Friday into the weekend. Highs will only be in the lower 70s Friday, so still above normal. Make it cooler throughout the day, though. And then 60s over the weekend, and those 60s are expected to continue into next week. And looking beyond just the 10-day forecast, we may see some cooler than average temperatures continue towards the end of May. So these 80s that we're going to see the next couple of days, they may not return until potentially the end of the month. month. So definitely enjoy them while they last. They obviously will return eventually, as June is right around the corner. But we will see some more kind of those spring-like temperatures return as we head towards the weekend and next week. Still very comfortable, though, as we're getting to the time of year where even below normal temperatures are still comfortable.
For all of the marketing problems that Major League Baseball may have, they certainly know how to celebrate a holiday. Players yesterday were decked in pink from head to toe, and Christian Yelich was using a pink bat with his mom's name engraved into it. And in the top of the fourth inning, he used it to put one past the fence. A solo shot courtesy of Mom ties things up at 1 apiece. And later in the frame, William Contreras wishes his mother a happy day with a blast of his own, giving the Brewers a 2-1 lead. And then in the 8th, Crew leading 3-2, and Rhys Hoskins hits one through the left side of the infield, ensuring a win for mothers all across the state as the Crew avoid getting swept and take the series finale in Tampa 4-2. And we are just 2 days away from the NFL releasing next year's schedule. Be sure to tune in to News 3 Now this Wednesday, the 14th, when we will have instant reaction and analysis on the Packers' 2026 slate. This past year has been a rough one for Bobby Portis. His home was burglarized, he was suspended for 25 games, and then his Bucks got bounced again in the first round. And despite all of that, a change of scenery is not what the mayor of Milwaukee is looking for. He has a player option this upcoming year that he says he wants to sign to stay with the Bucks, but adds the team might not necessarily want him back.
If you're looking at business-wise, like how do someone that's a GM of the team look at the team losing 3 straight years in the first round? So it all depends on how everything shakes up. I would love to be in Milwaukee. I love it here. You know, they call me the mayor here, right? So it's kind of hard to leave a city where you're the mayor. But, you know, obviously it's going to be up in the air with how they maneuver the roster, whatever they want to bring back. It's really going to be all on the organization.
That's your morning sports fix. Have a magnificent Monday.
You too, Andrew. Still ahead, Chicagoland opens up their wallets for their new hometown hero. And coming up in our next half hour, the Pope's first week on the job. What's on the agenda for today? We're back checking out Daniel's morning. All right, now Daniel is in Jamaica right now.
Yes, thank you for sending this from Jamaica.
I'm sure he's having a great time.
Looks awful.
May I suggest next time Daniel, may I suggest next time you go in February? Just saying, because it's beautiful here. Why would you want to get away from the weather we're having around here right now?
Yeah, because look at the green trees. They're beautiful.
I get you. Normally, even greener and more blue, and it's more gorgeous.
I'm with Chris. Normally, I would feel jealous, but I'm not right now.
We do have some nice weather here.
We got a picture-perfect weekend.
All right, we can, Daniel. Thanks for sharing that with us. Hey, Chicago businesses have been celebrating their new hometown hero, Pope Leo XIV. He's the first ever American Pope, if you haven't heard by now. And what's more American than capitalism, right? Just a couple hours, the Pope's new, his name, his image, they were everywhere. They were putting it on all sorts of stuff. Look at this, a Pope Leo XIV White Sox jersey. They got his picture on cookies and shirts and all sorts of stuff. Bars are even celebrating with special names after the pontiff. And did you see... what is it? Portillo's has the Leo, this new sandwich.
That's awesome.
Named after the Pope.
What was funny is I was talking about it earlier. Obviously, the Pope was a White Sox fan, and Paul Konerko, who wore number 14, is a big White Sox legend, and he's Pope Leo XIV, and people were saying that he picked that because of Paul Konerko.
There you go, for Paul Konerko.
To honor him.
Right.
One of my favorite memes was Da Pope.
Da Pope.
Yes, Da Pope.
Good stuff. Hey, if you can, look up tonight. You're going to see the flower moon. The flower moon got its nickname to signify the many blossoms of spring. May's full moon, also a micro moon. This occurs when the moon is at its greatest distance from Earth and appears smaller than a typical full moon. I saw the moon on the way in this morning. It looked so bright and Nice.
Me too.
The next full moon is going to take place on June 11th, also known as the strawberry moon, coming up in May. So again, tonight you can check out the flower moon. If we got clear skies, Jacob.
We might see some clouds tonight, but could see some of those clear skies, earlier. Because we'll see the sunshine, but with some clouds developing in the evening, and then, it'll be kind of hit or miss depending on your location. Then we'll have some rain chances Tuesday, Wednesday. Still going to be warm, and most of those days will be dry, just a small chance.
All right, we'll have more on that alert day coming up right after this. Breaking this morning, Wall Street reacts to the new developments in the trade war with China. Plus, it is National Day Without Childcare, how some community members plan to participate. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford. My partner, Kyrian, is off today. I hope you had a great Mother's Day weekend. Let's see if some of that nice weather is going to roll on into your work week. You have Jacob Montesano in for Savannah this morning, live in our studios in Madison with your first warn forecast. How are we sitting out there this morning, Jacob?
Well, right now we are seeing temperatures a little bit on the cooler side, but they're pretty close to normal for the morning hours this time of the year. 40s and 50s, and those temperatures are going to warm up very quickly. We're going to see plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Here's a look at the cloud cover forecast. Just a few passing clouds here and there. Otherwise, today will feature a lot of sunshine. More consistent clouds will then move in a little bit later in the afternoon and the evening, but beyond that, expect mostly sunny skies. And as far as temperatures, they could hit 70 as early as 10 a.m. despite the 40s we're seeing right now, and then we're going to rise into the lower 80s by the later afternoon and evening hours. Might get a little bit windy at times, but if anything, the wind may help keep the temperatures feeling a little bit cooler. Middle to lower 80s for the entire area. A little bit cooler as you get closer to the lake. Highs may only be in the 60s in Milwaukee, so highs in the eastern portion of our area may stay in the upper 70s, but still very mild, and the overnight lows are actually going to be a lot milder than they are right now. Upper 50s to low 60s are expected with partly to mostly cloudy skies, and then we'll see more clouds for tomorrow. Temperatures a bit cooler, but still very mild. Upper 70s to still some lower 80s possible, and we will see a small chance of rain. So I'll talk more about that and talk about an alert day Thursday. Those details coming up a bit later.
All right, we'll talk to you then, Jacob. Thank you. Now to that breaking news from overnight. The U.S. and China have agreed to temporarily roll back tariffs. It's going to begin on Wednesday. In a joint statement, both countries say they'll each cut tariffs by 115 percentage points for 90 days. The countries say they're committed to ongoing trade talks during that time. The announcement comes after officials spent the weekend negotiating in Switzerland. The U.S. economy is reeling from President Trump's 145% tariff hike on many Chinese imports and China's retaliation. Goldman Sachs now predicts a key inflation gauge effectively will double by year's end. The National Retail Federation forecasts at least a 20% drop in U.S. imports year over year in the second half of 2025. All right, let's see how Wall Street is reacting this morning. The Dow is up 1,000 points in overnight trading, or about 2.5%. S&P futures are up as well, over 3%. NASDAQ futures are up about 4%. So we'll see how things go when the opening bell rings here in 2 hours. Let's get some local news this morning. A Fitchburg fire investigating the cause of a fire that caused 4 horses to die. That fire happened on Richardson Street near Byrne Park early Sunday morning. Fire crews confirmed flames and smoke showing from a 50 by 25 foot pole barn. Crews were able to contain the fire to that barn and protect surrounding properties. Fitchburg fire investigators say no foul play is suspected. Happening today, local child care providers will recognize the 4th annual A Day Without Child Care. The day draws attention to the need for more affordable child care and better pay for providers. Early educators, parents, kids, and elected officials will gather this morning at Wanakee Village Park at 8 o'clock. They'll speak about why early education is important to the village and why state investment is important to sustain the industry. Madison police looking for your help this morning to track down some motorcycles and their drivers. Take a look here. MPD is sharing some pictures to see if you could help. Officers spotted the bikes Thursday downtown, tried to pull them over, but then the bikes took off. Anyone with information should contact Madison Police at 608-255-2345. Public Health Madison, Dane County looking for your help too, identifying a dog who bit a person on the city's south side. The department says the bite happened when the victim was walking through a park. They saw an off-leash dog running towards them. The dog jumped onto the victim, knocking them to the ground and biting their leg. The dog is described as a brown pit bull type breed. Anyone with information should call the number on your screen and ask for animal services officers. To the Pope now. Pope Leo XIV will begin his first full week as Pope by speaking to 6,000 journalists. It follows a newer tradition of meeting with the media days after being elected, which started with Pope Benedict XVI in 2005. The Pope already has a history of sharing his views with the public. He's been posting about political issues on social media for years. Those posts include criticism of the Trump administration's stance on immigration. Those who know him well, like former classmate Father Anthony Pizzo, believe that his wide range of experience will serve Pope Leo through his term.
Having been a missionary in Peru has given him a very global perspective.
He now has a lot on his shoulders, and having been born in the city of big shoulders, I think he's up to the task.
Pope Leo XIV called for lasting peace in Ukraine and the Middle East in his first Sunday blessing as pontiff yesterday morning. He spoke to a crowd of an estimated 100,000 from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. President Trump expressing doubt that Ukraine will reach a ceasefire with Russia. In a Truth Social post, he noted that President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday in Turkey. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky called Russia's offer of direct talks a positive sign, but insisted that Putin must agree to an immediate ceasefire first. New this morning, Hamas says that the last living American hostage in Gaza will be released today. It's part of efforts to establish a ceasefire. Edon Alexander is an Israeli-American soldier who was abducted from his base. The abduction happened during the October 7, 2023 Hamas-led attack. Now to the state capitol. Wisconsin lawmakers working on crafting the next state budget. Thursday, members of the budget writing committee met at the state capitol, where they removed a lot of what Governor Tony Evers had in his budget draft. On this week's For the Record, political reporter Will Keneally spoke with Bob Lang to see what's happening in the budget process. Lang is the director of the nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Bureau. He says May 15th is when they will revise numbers from January.
We are in the process right now of seeing if our numbers require revision, and we look at collection data and we look at forecast. So that's a relatively big day coming up that legislators are waiting for.
The Finance Committee will meet every Tuesday and Thursday and vote agency by agency, item by item, until the process is completed in late June or early July. Gigi's Playhouse receiving a generous donation from a local company. Alter Metal Recycling of Southern Wisconsin is donating over $100,000 to the nonprofit. The money was raised through Alter's April Go Green for the Green fundraising campaign. Southern Wisconsin raised over $54,000 for Gigi's Playhouse, and then Alter matched that dollar for dollar, so $108,000 in total. Gigi's Playhouse serves individuals with Down syndrome and other disabilities. Way to go. Well, we're a couple of days away from the NFL releasing the schedule, so be sure to tune in to News 3 Now this Wednesday, the 14th. As soon as the schedule is released at 7 p.m., we'll have instant reaction and analysis of the Packers' 2026 slate. A new mural honoring the legacies of 5 Madison leaders is now on display. Colorful Characters is a mural by artist Michael Ford. It features the portraits of Madisonians that left a legacy of community service in South Madison. Those Madisonians are Wayne Strong, a community advocate, Lori Mancari, an education advocate, Ursi Green, a chef for the Boys and Girls Club, Ilda Thomas, the founder of Centro Hispano, and Alfonso Studsville Jr., a mentor. The mural is located on the corner of the new parking structure at the Village on Park. It's right next to the Urban League's Black Business Club. Artist Ford says the mural is a reminder that everyday heroes walk among us, and now they look over us, too. 6:38. Let's check in with Jacob Montesano and what's coming up in your full forecast. Hi.
We'll see very warm weather today, and the warm weather will continue the next couple of days. Plenty of sunshine, but I'll talk about our rain chances coming up.
And we'll take you to Screaming Acres,
Katrina,
where they're celebrating a halfway to Halloween event coming up.
You're watching watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, the palette of available color additives is expanding. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, is here to show us the newly approved FDA colors, red, white, and blue dyes that are going to be in our food. Michelle Renee, what can you tell us?
Chris, good morning. Those dyes are natural. So that's the natural red dye. It's a type of algae called Galderia extract blue. It's found in volcanic hot springs. Butterfly pea flower is a blue extract with some greens and purples, and calcium phosphate is the white. Now, this comes as U.S. Department of Health and Human Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is phasing out petroleum-based dyes in our food supply. It's all a part of his broader plan to make America healthy again. Artificial food dyes are facing new federal restrictions in more than half of the states. Nonprofit environmental health organizations say this approval is good news. However, they criticize the lack of action when it comes to the FDA banning harmful ingredients in food. That includes chemicals linked to cancer and other health issues.
All right, Michelle Renee, thanks for the heads up about those newly approved dyes. All right, let's get to some consumer news. Chipotle is planning on expanding its footprint in the U.S. and Canada. The Mexican Grill restaurant says it's opening more than 300 locations this year. 50 to 25 of those will be in Canada. 80% are going to have a drive-through for digital orders. Chipotle says 57 company-owned restaurants have already opened during the first quarter of this year. In its fourth quarter earnings, the company reported a total revenue of more than $11 billion in 2024, an increase of almost 15% compared to 2023. A heads up here, Yamaha is recalling nearly 40,000 power adapters because they may pose a burn and fire risk. The AC-powered adapters were sold with the company's digital pianos and music workstations. The company says they can overheat and ignite, posing burn and fire hazards. The model number to watch out for here for these power adapters is PA300C. Again, PA300C. They were sold at music stores nationwide and online from September 2010 through November 2014. The adapters were also sold separately as a repair part. They were also built into certain Yamaha brand Clavinova digital pianos. Let's check in with Jacob Montesano, your first warn forecast. He's got 3 things to know. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Chris, as we look at the next couple of days, we're still going to be very warm. In fact, we'll actually be warmer than this past weekend with highs near 80 each day. But we are going to see a chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, each of those 3 days, it will be dry for a long period of the day with much cooler temperatures by the time we get to the next weekend after Thursday's rain. Now, here's a look at the rain chances for tomorrow and Wednesday. It'll start late tonight into Tuesday morning. Just a few light showers are expected, and they will be very brief. A lot of the area may miss out on the rain entirely. We'll continue to see cloudy skies for the overnight hours Tuesday. May see some light sprinkles, but we're not expecting a lot of rain during this time. And then for Wednesday, we'll see sunshine with once again a small chance of some isolated showers, maybe a pop-up storm, but we're really not going to see much as once again, a lot of the area may be completely dry for the entire day. Then as we get towards Thursday, we have an alert day in the forecast for the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms, but this is mainly in the late afternoon and evening as the first half of the day should be very dry as well. And looking at the most likely hazards, the most likely hazard will be strong winds, but we could see some hail and an isolated tornado within this round of severe weather. So looking at Thursday's forecast, again, dry to start the day, but in the afternoon, we'll start to see some showers and storms form to the west, and it'll push through our area throughout the evening, clearing out overnight, and then by Friday morning we should be dry with some isolated shower or just consistent shower activity, I should say, in northern Wisconsin. We may stay dry in southern Wisconsin during this time frame, though. But temperatures will be a lot cooler because we're going to see some pretty strong sustained winds on top of the severe weather. So even when we're not seeing those thunderstorms, winds could be very strong, up to near 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts for Thursday. By Friday morning, they're going to continue to be very gusty. Even into Friday night and Saturday, we'll continue to see some pretty strong winds, and this will cause those cooler temperatures. So as we take a look at the full 7 to 10 day forecast, we are going to see highs only in the 60s by the weekend, and those highs in the 60s do look to continue for much of next week, where we do have a chance of rainfall, especially by the middle of the week. So definitely enjoy these 80s the next couple of days, and like I said, those rain chances shouldn't last all day. We likely will see dry periods. And the reason I say enjoy the 80s is because those 60s will return, and it looks like we may continue to see some cooler temperatures even beyond the 10-day forecast for the end of next week.
All right, a lot to keep track of. Some rain, some cooler weather, more rain. All right, Jacob, thank you. In the 608 this morning, you know, it may not be spooky season right now. In fact, we're far from it. But according to one local haunted house, we're halfway there. Josh Breider is here in the studio to explain. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Chris, good morning to you. Screaming Acres in Stoughton says we are halfway to Halloween, and they're celebrating big this weekend, opening for one night only on Saturday. Here's a little News 3 Now throwback to when the morning team was invited out last October. All right, you guys ready? I don't know which way to go.
What are you talking about? Why are you walking so fast?
Ooh, there's bugs.
Here.
Oh, not the crib.
It's okay, guys. Come on, come on, come on!
Oh, God, we got separated!
We're here.
We're leading this train.
It's not moving. Oh my God! I couldn't go back there! Josh, you're first! What is that? Go! Hey, but we survived, you guys.
We survived!
You're the champions, my friend.
Oh! Maybe not yet.
Time for monsters.
'No fun was had.
Good times.
Screaming Acres is open Saturday night, May 17th from 8 to 10. Tickets are available online. I've placed that link in the story at channel3000.com. The story of Screaming Acres is amazing. It was started by, a then 14-year-old who just wanted some money for college, and now look at it so many years later. I mean, it's become one of the best attractions here in Wisconsin, so it's pretty awesome.
It's cool to see it develop into what it has because it was a passion project.
Yep.
I mean, these people are so in. I mean, like you meet these people and they are all in.
All the time.
I mean, it's creating each other's makeup and the costumes and getting into character. I mean, they're doing it for no other reason but because they just absolutely love it and get a thrill out of it.
And it's a little too real. I mean, I get spooked pretty easily, but you see some of these, it's like, all right, like this looks pretty lifelike. So pretty crazy.
They're good times. Halfway.
Halfway to Halloween.
Here we go. Josh, thanks.
You bet.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to show off in the 608. You got an idea for him? So many of his ideas come from people just like you at home. So reach out and maybe your idea will get featured. Coming up in the morning sprint, the unexpected benefit of taking weight loss drugs. We got a birthday to celebrate today. We want to wish a happy 3rd birthday to Mason. Have a great one, buddy. We're back with this. Oh, and one more. Lily. Can't forget Lily. Love those glasses. We're back with the sprint right after this. .654, time for the morning sprint, and we are tracking breaking news from overnight that the U.S. and China have agreed to a temporary easing of tariffs. The temporary pause will begin Wednesday. In a joint statement, the countries say they'll each cut tariffs by 115 percentage points for 90 days. The countries say they're committed to ongoing trade talks during that time. The markets are reacting quite favorably this morning. Dow futures are up more than 1,000 points. In Milwaukee, 4 people are dead and hundreds displaced after a massive fire at an apartment complex. Yesterday morning, flames tore through the Highland Court apartments on the city's west side. To escape, those inside had to break windows and tie bed sheets together. The 85-unit apartment was built in the late 60s before sprinkler systems were required. Fitchburg Fire investigating the cause of a fire that left 4 horses dead. Happened on Richardson Street early Sunday morning. Fire crews confirmed flames and smoke showing from a 25 by 50-foot pole barn. Crews were able to contain the fire just to the barn. Fitchburg Fire investigators say no foul play is suspected. Hamas says the last living American hostage in Gaza will be released today as part of efforts to establish a ceasefire. Edon Alexander is an American-Israeli soldier who was abducted from his base on October 7, 2023, during the Hamas-led attack. An unexpected benefit of popular weight loss drugs, they could also cut alcohol consumption. A study by University College Dublin found people taking semaglutide used in popular drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy saw their alcohol consumption drop by 2/3. It's thought the drugs reduced the cravings for alcohol.
And here's a final look at your 10-day forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, highs near 80. The highs near 80 will continue through Thursday. A small chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday. Most of the day should be dry, though the rain will be very brief. Thursday, we have the alert day for the possible severe weather in the evening, but it will start out dry. And then after that rain Thursday, it will be cooler for Friday and the weekend. But still very comfortable. I've been talking about all morning. We're at the time of year where temperatures below normal are still comfortable, and that's kind of the beauty of the summertime.
I like it. Nice and cool, light jacket. Beautiful in the afternoon. Hey, squirrels.
Yeah, right.
Have a great one.